What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be doing my 1-year review on my Tao Tao Db-17 125cc pit bike. Just in case you are new to my channel or you don't really know anything about this pit bike yet, like I just said earlier, it is a 125cc pit bike. It is a 4-speed manual, 1 down, 3 up, and neutral is a half click between first and second gear. The back wheel is 14 inches. The front wheel is 17 inches. Like I said, I've had this for about a year now, and I thought that I would just go through and talk about how it's holding up so far. The first thing I'll start with are my tires, and as you can see, my tires have really held up well for the past year. I've ridden this bike in the fields as well as on the concrete, and there's really not much wear at all. And you can see that as well on the front. Now we'll move over here to the chain, and my chain stayed pretty tight for the first probably about six or 7, maybe 8 months, and then after that it started to get pretty loose, and I feel like it already kind of needs to be tightened again. So that's one criticism that I would have. I wish the chain would stay tighter for a longer period of time. Sliding over now to the shock, I have to say that within the past probably month or two, I've noticed that my shock has really loosened up a lot more than it was when I first got the bike. I wouldn't say that the shock was really stiff to begin with, but it definitely did not have as much bounce in it as it does now. Now, for me personally, I'm a pretty light person, so it doesn't bother me, but I have noticed it. Now moving up to the muffler and the exhaust. And if you've watched a few of my videos, then you know that I absolutely hate this slip-on exhaust, this muffler, whatever you would prefer to call it. I hate it. First of all, it's ugly. It's an aftermarket muffler, and it did come on the bike, I guess, but this is what I've had the most trouble with. First of all, I don't like how it sounds. So I'm definitely planning on replacing this. The clamp, the clamp back here that holds the muffler up does not fit. It's missing the rubber that's supposed to kind of cushion between the muffler and the clamp. It doesn't have that. The ring is too big, so there's always constant vibration and rattling. I've tightened it up as much as I can, but you can only do so much with something that doesn't fit. And it has come off, I believe, 2 times. The first time it just kind of worked its way to the end, and I got to it before it came off, but the second time I was riding around and it came completely off. So I had to put it back on, and I replaced the little clamp that came with it because it really it didn't fit well enough and wouldn't get tight enough to hold the muffler on. So I replaced it with a better one, a stronger one, and since then I have not had any issues with it, other than just the rattling from this because it doesn't fit. But I've got it pretty well fixed to where I know it's not going to come off, but I'm still not happy with it. That's one of the things that I do plan on replacing here fairly soon, and it is quite loud. Again, if you watch any of my videos, you know that there are houses around here where I ride, so I do often worry about kind of annoying people or bothering people if I'm riding for a couple of days or, you know, a long period of time, because it is pretty loud. Some people might like that. I personally don't. I prefer to have something a little bit quieter. So I do plan on replacing this. Another problem I've had is here with this little box underneath the seat. And I'm sorry, I don't know what this is called. I'm just going to call it a little electrical box because things are wired into it. It has a little rubber casing around it that slides onto a metal piece that's welded into the frame here. And about two months ago, the rubber kind of cracked through. I guess it was almost like dry rot, I guess you would say, and the rubber cracked through and broke off. So this little box here was just kind of hanging. So I took and I slid the casing back onto the box, and then I taped it with electrical tape to bind where it had cracked, and then I slid it back into place, and then I taped it a couple of more times with electrical tape just to secure it back to the mount so that it wouldn't come off anymore. And so far so good. It's still on there nice and tight. One of the big things that I have noticed with this bike is that it has become increasingly cold-natured the longer I've had it. And almost every time that I start it now, even in the warm weather, I have to let it run for probably about 10 to 15 minutes just to warm up for the first time. If it's a cold start and it's been sitting, anytime after that I start it, it's perfectly fine. But it definitely needs that warm-up period. Otherwise, any throttle you give it just completely bogs it down and wants to kill it. Now, I'm sure a lot of you probably not surprised about that and are going to tell me, well, if you change your carburetor, it's probably will take care of that problem, and you're probably right. But for right now, I'm just going to leave it. The only other real criticism that I had on this bike in my previous review was the clutch lever. I know I pointed out specifically that it was really stiff and that it wouldn't go back into place unless I pushed it back into place. I have oiled it and it works so much better now. It's so much easier. It snaps right back into place. Now I did, if you guys can see this here, my front brake lever, it is quite bent right here. I did have a little bit of an accident and it did end up bending it quite a bit. It still works, it's still functional, and it didn't break, thankfully, and I'm not going to bend it back just because then I might break it. So now, just for an overall thought about the bike, is that I'm still very happy with it. I've said this before in previous videos, and it's really true that when you're thinking about buying one of these pit bikes, well, you really just have to manage your expectations and really realize what you're getting. Now, is this the quality of a Honda or a Yamaha or a Suzuki or anything like that? No, it's not. But when you think about what you're getting for the price, to me, it's 100% worth it. If you take care of it and you maintenance it, just keep it in good condition, then it's really a really good little pit bike, and they're fun. And a lot of people ask, is this good for beginners? Absolutely. I think this is a great beginner bike because, first of all, it is cheap. Second of all, it's lightweight, which I really like because my feet, again, if you've seen any of my other videos, my feet don't quite hit the ground all the way. So it's very lightweight and manageable for someone of my size who is 5'2", 5'3"-ish, and I weigh about 100 pounds. It's very easy to learn on as far as the shifting pattern, the clutch, And because it is so easy to maintenance and take care of, it's a great little learner bike for someone who's just trying to get into pit bikes or dirt bikes, and they need to learn just how to do the basics and learn how to maintenance. This is a great little starter bike for anybody to just pedal around on, have fun on, and to just learn. So overall, I'd say it's 100% worth it. Again, just manage your expectations. Okay guys, I believe that's all that I wanted to talk about on this review. I hope it was kind of helpful. Maybe, maybe not, I don't know. But those are my thoughts, and thank you guys for watching.